The Beaver of Healds Pond. In the quiet town of Pepperell, Massachusetts, nestled among whispering pines and winding back roads, there lived a man named Charlie Webb. Charlie was a kind-hearted, middle-aged fellow with a belly that spoke of too many apple pies and second helpings. He worked odd jobs around town, fixing fences, hauling firewood, and feeding neighborhood dogs while their owners were away. Though well-liked, Charlie often felt a little invisible, always giving but rarely asked what he wanted. One late summer evening, Charlie wandered down to Healds Pond to skip stones and escape the weight of the day, and his own growing sense of loneliness. As the sun dipped behind the trees, a strange splashing noise caught his attention. There, tangled in an old fishing net and struggling for breath, was a large beaver unlike any Charlie had ever seen. Its fur shimmered faintly gold in the twilight, and its eyes glowed with a knowing light. Without hesitation, Charlie waded into the pond and freed the creature. The beaver blinked, coughed, and then spoke. Yes, spoke! "You have freed me, Charles of Pepperell. I am Bramble, guardian of the northern streams. I owe you a life debt, and with it 3 wishes. Charlie, soaked and speechless, stammered, Three wishes?" Bramble nodded. "Choose wisely." Wish 1. Charlie paused, then grinned sheepishly. "Well, I've always been a big guy. I wouldn't mind shedding some weight, not just to look better, but to feel better. I want to be healthy, fit, able to climb Bancroft's Hill without wheezing." Bramble's eyes gleamed. "Granted." In an instant, Charlie felt lighter. His gut shrank, his back straightened, and years seemed to roll off his body like rain off a roof. Wish 2. "Next," Charlie said, "I want to know what people really need when they ask for help. Like, someone asks for a tool. I know exactly the right one. Or they ask for advice. I know what'll truly help them. Not just knowledge, but insight. And the power to fulfill their need?" "Yes," Charlie nodded, "so I can truly deliver the goods." "Granted." A warmth flooded Charlie's mind, like opening a box full of glowing answers. "And finally," Charlie said, his tone now serious, "I've been lied to more than I care to admit. I want to know when someone's not telling the truth. Just feel it in my gut." Bramble bowed his head solemnly. "That is a heavy gift, but it is yours. Granted." A cold clarity settled in Charlie's chest. He could already sense the pond's silence wasn't just quiet, it was honest. With the wishes granted, Bramble nodded once more. "Thank you, Charlie Webb. Use your gifts well. And remember, magic listens, but truth speaks louder." The magical beaver vanished into the dark waters, leaving barely a ripple behind. Charlie returned to town, parking his truck at the Prescott Hotel where he rents a room, liking it because of its location just off of Main Street. Getting out, he held onto his belt loop, feeling his trousers about to fall off, and went into his hotel room and changed into sweatpants that he could tighten with its pull string. Grabbing his wallet, he walked out the door, crossing the railroad tracks headed to Godin's, a thrift store that had a small collection of clothes. Finding the sizes that fit his now slim body. Taking off the tags and handing them to the cashier named Natalie, she smiled and said, "Wearing them already? You should wash them first. You know, dyes from the factories could cause rashes on some people." I thanked her and suddenly realized she wasn't concerned about the clothing, just wanted to make small talk and really wanted a relationship with me. So I turned around and Natalie was still staring at me. Clearing my throat, I said, "Natalie, would you like to get coffee with me after your shift?" Her eyes widened and said, "I'd love to," as her cheeks started to blush. "Great! What time are you off?" She replied, "I am out at 9 p.m. "Great! I will see you then." Charlie walked out feeling a warm glow in his chest, surprised he had the nerve to ask. Later that evening, Charlie met Natalie as she was locking up the store, Natalie asked, "Where are we going?" I said, "Shall we walk over to the spa? They're open for another hour." "That would be great." As they were walking up the steps, a man looked up and said, "Hey man, can you spare $1? I'm broke and need some food." Charlie looked at him puzzled. He was lying, his gift kicking in. Charlie looked at him. "That's not true. You're not broke, are you?" The man stood up yelling, "Who do you think you are?" Lunging at Charlie. As he was about to hit Charlie, Natalie pushed him away. The man fell down the steps and landed on the sidewalk. Just then, a huge wad of cash fell from his vest pocket, blowing onto the street. Charlie ran down, helped him collect the money, and gave it back to him. The man, embarrassed, took the money and stumbled away. Natalie looked at him in amazement and said, "Charlie, how did you know he wasn't broke?" He looked at her and said, "I don't know, I just had a gut feeling and went with it." Natalie, impressed, said, "Come on, let's get that coffee." They went in. The man behind the counter, named Paul, said, "Grill's closed." "That's okay," Charlie said. "We love a cup of coffee." As he ordered, he suddenly understood. Cindy was hungry and was desiring the apple pie in the display, and Paul, 2 slices of that tasty-looking apple pie. Paul smiles, "Okay, my wife made it this morning. Should be nice and fresh." As Charlie and Natalie went to a private booth, they had a wonderful talk, and then Charlie walked Natalie to her car. She said, "Thank you for coffee and pie, Charlie." "You're welcome. I'd love to see you again. Can I have your phone number?" Natalie's eyes lit up and said, "Give me your phone, Charlie," and took it and entered her phone number and address. As she drove away, Charlie said to himself, "What a beautiful day. It all feels like a dream." The next day, Mrs. Daly, an elderly widow, trying to fix her shutters. Mrs. Daly stands on a rickety old stepladder, wobbling dangerously. Charlie, driving by in his truck, sees her and stops. Charlie, smiling, "Afternoon, Mrs. Daly. That ladder is about as stable as a politician before election season." She laughs but waves him off. "Don't fuss over me, Charlie. I just need to hammer this back into place." Charlie pauses. His eyes briefly flash with knowing light. He sees what she really needs, not just the shutter fixed, but the loneliness inside her house. "Charlie, tell you what, I'll fix that in no time, and maybe afterwards I'll bring over some of my famous meatloaf. You ever play cribbage?" Her eyes well up, surprised. "Not in years." He nods, already climbing a proper ladder from the back of his truck, and fixes her shutters, then made plans for dinner and a game of cribbage. Just then called to Natalie to say hello. Smiling, Charlie says, "Hello, Natalie," and tells her about Mrs. Daly and his plans for dinner. Mrs. Daly hears them talking and said, "Oh, I don't want to mess any plans you might want to make." Just then, Natalie asked to be put on speaker. "Hi, Mrs. Daly. It's Natalie at Godin's. Your fabric you ordered is coming with our supply order today. I'll call you when it arrives." Mrs. Daly replied, "Great, but would you like to join Charlie and I for cribbage tonight, if that's okay with Charlie, that is?" Charlie said, "It's okay with me. I have plenty of meatloaf. I baked this morning." Natalie said, "Sounds good. I'll bring a side and Mrs. Daly's fabric over with me." Charlie returned to town, changed in more ways than one. People noticed his new energy, his uncanny ability to help in ways no one could explain. He started a small business called Charlie Delivers, offering anything from handyman, handcrafted gifts to advice that felt like it came from their own hearts. Later that week, Alex, a 16-year-old boy with nervous energy, Charlie, pouring oil in his truck, Alex approaches Charlie, fidgeting. "Hey, Mr. Webb, I was wondering if you had an extra chainsaw I could borrow. Dad needs it." Charlie sets down the oil can slowly. He looks at Alex. His third gift hums in his gut. Charlie, gently, "That's not the truth, Alex." Alex looks down, ashamed. Charlie, softly, "Tell me what's really going on." Alex, after a pause, There's this kid at school. He's been messing with my sister. I just wanted to scare him. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just don't know what to do." Charlie puts a hand on his shoulder. "Violence won't fix it, but I've got a better idea." He takes Alex into the truck. A moment later, he hands him a copy of a book, The Way of the Honest Man. Inside is a card, a contact for a martial arts class taught by Charlie's friend, and a second card, a counselor's number. "Charlie, strength isn't in the fists, kid. It's in control and protecting people the right way." That weekend, Charlie's setting up at the farmer's market at the town field. Sierra, a single mom with her daughter in a stroller. Charlie, tending a table with handmade goods and tools. Sierra approaches the table, admiring a wooden birdhouse. Sierra, "You make these?" Charlie, "Every one. Want one for your porch?" She shakes her head, embarrassed. "They're beautiful, but I'm trying to save every penny. Got laid off last week." Charlie looks at her. The second gift awakens. He sees not only her need for money, but for dignity and purpose. "Charlie, you ever paint? Got a steady hand?" She blinks. "I used to do signs in high school." Charlie hands her a small envelope. Inside, a short job offer, $200 a week to paint signs and decorations for his growing business. "Charlie, I've got more orders than I can handle. Could use a partner who sees detail." Tears well up in Sierra's eyes. Wow. Yes, thank you." Her daughter babbles and claps. "Charlie, tell her it's a team effort." The next day, Charlie and Natalie finish a walk around the pond. Natalie, grinning. "You've changed, Charlie. Like something's different. You glow." Charlie, smirking. "Clean living, magic beavers, all the usual stuff." She laughs, then becomes quiet. "Are you really into this, us, or are you just being polite?" Charlie looks at her, heart thudding. His third gift pulses. He knows she's afraid he's lying, but he also knows his own heart now, clear and true. "Charlie," softly, "I'm more into you than I can put into words, and that's no magic. That's just real." She smiles, touches his hand. "Then let's not waste any time." They walk off together under the stars. And every evening he'd stroll down to Healds Pond, sit by the shore and thank the waters for the strange, magical friend that gave him a new lease on life. In Pepperell, they still whisper about the man who talks to beavers and always knows what you really need.